Hey card farmers, this is Drew from Clean Cheap Shots. Got a couple VRs for you today. We've got John over at 3D 80s Kid and Hugo over at Signs of the Pastime. Now, Hugo wanted us to show, well, our favorite pickup of the year, but I couldn't do it. I decided to cheat, Hugo. I've got three cards I'm going to show. The first is sitting there in front of you. That's a 1953 Topps Willie Mays. I picked that up at the National. That's the last card I needed for a completely graded 1953 Topps set. I'd spent about 18 years on that, and I was determined to pick that card up at the National so I could complete it. And as you can see here, it is perfectly off-centered. Perfectly off-centered, folks. So after 18 years, I'm happy to have that. I'm happy to have that project behind me. So, as I said, I have three cards. That's the first. The second one here is this card. And the reason, I don't know if it's really a pickup, but Mark over at RudeDog21 gave this to me here about a week or so ago. And yeah, I really appreciated that. I really do. So Mark, thank you so much. So that's tied for my favorite pickup of the year. And then lastly, Eddie Watt. Now you're wondering, why is that a big deal? I'll tell you in a second. But I've been picking up Eddie Watt cards. 1975, there he is with Philadelphia. Decent looking card. The 69 I thought was in really nice shape. And of course, 72. And the reason why this is such a big pickup for me is because I was very fortunate to be able to sit down and interview Mr. Eddie Watt here a few weeks back. And I've posted four of those interviews. Well, it was one interview and I broke it up into 4 parts, but I posted those and I really enjoyed it. It was very memorable for me. So that being said, I've been picking up these Eddie Watt cards for that reason. And so Hugo, sorry, I had to pick 3. I couldn't pick Willie Mays over Mr. Watt, and I couldn't pick Mr. Watt over Willie Mays. And of course, thank you, Mark, for the Roberto Clemente. There you go. All right. Next, John. John wanted us to, again, pick 3 obsessions with our card collecting. That was actually a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. Well, the first obsession is really pretty easy, and that is I have to have my slabs in a PSA slab. I can't have SGC, PSA, Beckett. I've just got to have it all uniform. And I know that there's some other great companies out there that do slabbing, but I got married to PSA over 20 years ago, and it is what it is. So the first one, again, is having all my slabs in a PSA grade. 59 Topps Frank Robinson there, in case you're wondering. So the second obsession is simply that I'm a completionist. And so I've started some runs that I can put in the PSA registry. But really the biggest completion obsession I had was getting this 1953 Topps set, which is completely graded, completed. And that, as I said, took a long time. So that's the second obsession. And the third one is actually, I'm going to refer back to Mr. Watt here. So the third one is not calling cards commons. That word's always bothered me because as I've said in previous videos, most cards in the set are called commons by the hobby, but the mint on the cards are anything but common. You're at the top of your profession, the top 1% of your profession. And if you're at the top like that, you're not common. And so I don't like calling these cards commons. That's always kind of bothered me, and I get obsessed with making sure that I don't make that mistake. And it's like fingernails to a chalkboard when other people do it. So that's my third obsession, is treating these cards with the same respect that I do any other card. Because again, I think the men that play the game and the men on these cards, they have very valuable stories, and I don't want to dismiss that. So John, those are my 3 obsessions. Thank you, John. Thank you, Hugo. I appreciate you coming up with these VR contests. And with that, keep growing your collection, card farmers. We'll see you next time.